right, we're going to start here in about 30 seconds. Everybody want to take their seats, please? That was item 12, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right, good evening. Welcome to Glendale City Council meeting of September 22nd, 2020. This meeting is, that was bad. This meeting is called to order. Roll call is not necessary. Everyone is here. If you could take note of that, please. Our next two items on our agenda are the invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation will be delivered by a friend of mine, Mr. Emmanuel Allen. Gentlemen, if it's appropriate, please remove your hats if you're wearing them. If everyone would please stand for the invocation, and please remain standing after the invocation for our Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Allen.
Mayor, Council, it's always an honor to be able to do the invocation. Let us bow our heads for a moment of prayer. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day. We thank you for everyone that is present here today. We ask you, Lord, that you will begin to just give this council, every leader in this place, wisdom beyond their years. Give them strategies, give them insight. Lord, bless this city like never before, even in these days that we've experienced so much turmoil. But Father, we ask you even now that you will continue to allow your blessing to be over the city of Glendale. We ask you, Father, that you will continue to open up great doors and that you will continue to use every leader that is here in the way beyond they can even imagine. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. That was item 12, right? Okay. Okay, before we get started tonight, I'd like to remind everyone of the following. This meeting is televised. It's live on the City of Glendale's Facebook and YouTube pages, as well as Glendale's own Channel 11. Our meetings are located in the Glendale Civic Center with our audience seated next door. We request that if you're next door, you wear a face mask covering if you're unable to social distance. And for those of you who are seated next door, please be aware that we have a screen on our side where we can see you, as also you have a screen where it allows you to see us. With that said, if you wish to speak on any item on the agenda, please complete a golden colored card, give it to the officer in that room, and we'll make sure that the city clerk gets that, records it, and hands it to me. If you submit a speaker's card and indicate you wish to speak on an agenda item, I'll wait for you to make your way into the podium in the room. If there's multiple speakers, I'll call your name in advance so you're ready to go. I will be allowing 3 minutes for each speaker tonight on all agenda items. Please keep in mind that the citizens' comment section is at the very end of each voting meeting, and that's to allow the public to speak about anything that's not on our printed agenda. Now, we do want to appreciate everyone for your patience. So with that, next on our agenda is the consideration of the minutes from the September 8th, 2020 voting meeting. Council members, do you have any corrections or additions to the minutes? Hearing none, can I get a motion, please?
Yes, Mayor, I move we approve the minutes of September 8th.
I have a motion from Councilmember Hughes, second from Councilmember Clark to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion. Can I get anyone in favor vote aye?
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay? As you guys have it, do have it. It passes unanimous. Proclamations and awards. We'll now move on to proclamations and award. Tonight I'll be reading a proclamation to honor the October 2020 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I'd like to invite Glendale's own police chief, Chief Briggs, Melinda Cadena of Angels on Patrol, and Francine Cabrera of Lifeline Professional Counseling to join me up here in front of my table. And with that, as you're coming up, I'll put my mask on. Okay. So, proclamation, City of Glendale, whereas the Bureau of Justice statistics indicate that nearly 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men have experienced domestic violence from an intimate partner in their lifetime. And whereas in Maricopa County, over 40% of domestic violence victims admit that they delay leaving a dangerous situation because they fear for their pet's safety and don't have a safe place to take them. Whereas partnering with Angels on Patrol provides domestic violence victims emergency financial assistance and placement for shelter services where their safety is compromised. And whereas partnering with Lifeline Professional Counseling provides specialized trauma counseling services free of charge to individuals and families experiencing domestic violence and wanting to break the cycle of abuse. And whereas each year October prompts us to recommit ourselves to supporting healthy, respectful, and nonviolent relationships, thus reducing the occurrence of domestic violence, preventing its lifelong, lasting, harmful effects on our community. And now therefore, I, Jerry P. Wires, Mayor of the City of Glendale, Arizona, on behalf of our council, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2020 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and call upon the citizens of Glendale to increase their understanding of domestic violence and support their family, friends, neighbors, and coworkers who may be a victim of domestic violence. Signed by myself and our city clerk. Who do I give this to? We'll get a picture if you want to go ahead and turn here. There you go. How's that? I'll just stand behind here. All right. And who would like to speak? We have a podium right over there. Just help yourself, and thank you so much for coming out.
Mayor, council members, I'm Melinda with Angels on Patrol, and we were founded by a law enforcement officer. We were founded for situations that the mayor read about the proclamation. We're here to help officers as they're helping families in crisis, and we're a direct resource for them whenever they have a need that's beyond the call. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, boards, commissions, and other bodies. We'll move on to just that. For those who are nominated, if you'll please wait to come forward until Councilmember Aldama calls you up, and that'll be after we vote. If you're next door, as you hear your name, you can come over into the hallway and be ready to come in. So, Councilmember Aldama, do you have nominations to offer for boards, commissions, and other bodies?
I do, Mayor. I motion to approve the following appointments. To the Arts Commission, Jose Aguniga, for a term ending January 31st, 2021. Lorraine Zomack for a term ending 1/31/2022. Nicole Riley as chair for a term ending 1/31/2021. To the Citizens Transportation Oversight Commission, Paul Marsh for a term ending 1/31/2021. To the Human Relations Commission, Bernadette Bolganini for a term ending in 1/31/2022. To the Industrial Development Authority, Daryl Jaquez for a term ending 1/31/2025. Mayor?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Aldama, a second from Councilmember Tomashoff to approve these citizens to boards, commissions, and other bodies as read by Councilmember Aldama. All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please vote nay. Appears the ayes have it, do have it. That motion does carry. Councilmember Aldama, would you like to call your newly appointed members to come up front to the table?
Yes, Mayor, I will. Thank you. Jose Aguniga. Lorraine Zomack. Nicole Riley. Paul Marsh. Bernadette Bolganini. And Daryl Jaquez. Our commissioners, Mayor.
Like 2/5 of them showed up.
Okay.
Come on up. Right there's good. Okay, so you have a sheet in front of you. If you'll hold your right hand, state your name. and then swear after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Arizona, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of my office according to the best of my ability, so help me God. Congratulations. So if you'll turn around right there, we'll get a picture here real quick. All right, thank you. Congratulations. All right, moving on to consent agenda, consent resolutions, items 4 through 18. Items on the consent agenda are of routine nature. They've been previously studied by the City Council at a workshop session. They are intended to be acted upon in one motion by this council. Ms. Bauer, would you please read the consent resolutions, item 13 through 18?
Item 13, resolution number R20-115, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of an intergovernmental agreement between the United States Department of Justice, Drug Enforcement Administration, and the Glendale Police Department for continued participation in a program-funded state and local task force. Item 14, resolution number R20-116, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of an intergovernmental agreement between the United States Department of Justice, Drug Enforcement Administration, and the Glendale Police Department for continued participation in a tactical diversion task force. Item 15, resolution number R20-117, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, approving the issuance by Industrial Development Authority of the City of Glendale, Arizona, of its Senior Living Revenue Bond Series 2020 Royal Oaks Inspirada Point Project in one or more series and in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $200 million. Item 16, resolution number R20-118, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of an intergovernmental agreement with Maricopa County and the City of Phoenix for the maintenance and operation of fiber infrastructure along 99th Avenue and Indian School Road. Item 17, resolution number R20-119, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the acceptance and expenditure of a grant from Arizona Emergency Medical Systems, Inc. for approximately $1,500 to purchase EMS supplies to support COVID-19 response on behalf of the Glendale Fire Department. Item 18, resolution number R20-120, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of an intergovernmental agreement for the operation of a merchandising vending business for various locations. That concludes the consent resolutions.
All right, thank you. Do you have any speaker cards?
No, sir.
Okay, and then Councilmember Thomas, if that was item 12, was it not?
Yes, sir, it's item number 12. I'd like to
Okay,
hear that one separately.
Okay, so if we could go ahead and have item 12 read, please, and have some discussion.
Yes, sir. Authorization to enter into Amendment Number 5 to the agreement with PBC Phoenix, Inc., doing business as Commercial Cleaning Systems for custodial services for park restrooms, Foothills Recreation and Aquatic Center, and 4 libraries.
Mayor, members of council, here to provide staff report is our Director of Parks, Recreation, and Special Events, Jim Burke.
Your speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Mayor, members of the council. This is a request for the City Council to authorize the manager, to enter into an amendment number 5 for an agreement for custodial services, contract number 10258, in the amount to not to exceed $93,206, and to extend the term of the existing agreement to March 2021. An RFP was issued soliciting custodial services for the restrooms in the city parks. The bids received were much higher than the available budget, so we were not able to award that, and we're reworking that RFP and plan to reissue it here in the near future. It was a separate RFP issued for custodial services for our community centers, aquatics facility, and 4 libraries and 3 small centers. That's currently being evaluated and for award in the near future. This contract extension will allow us to continue to clean the facilities in the gap, since the original contract expired at the beginning of this month, the 7th of September. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Questions?
Yes, Mayor, I do have a question. Mr. Burke, so I'm just curious if because the facilities were closed for quite some time during the mandated executive order shutting down libraries, community centers, those types of facilities, were we required to pay during those months? How is our contract written?
Mayor, members of council, I'm not exactly familiar with that contract and would have to look that up and get back to you. I'm not sure if we paid, I can't imagine that we did pay during services that weren't being rendered.
Oh, Mayor, if I could, because that's why I figured we probably should have some credit from the months where we weren't open, that we weren't using the cleaning service. So I was just curious how the contract worked, and that if it wasn't worded that way, that going forward, that it would be worded that way so that we wouldn't be billed for months or times when the properties were shut down.
Okay.
I guess, and I mean, if nobody knows the answer, they can get it to me at some.
We'll get you the answer, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Don't know
thank-
it this evening, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead and proceed. Can we get a, can we get a motion?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I move we approve consent agenda items 4 through 12 and consent resolutions 13 through 18.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Turner, second Councilmember Clark to approve recommended action items. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote? Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Aldama, use your microphone.
Aye.
There you go. Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, the motion carries. Bids and contracts, moving on. Ms. Bauer, would you move item 19, please?
Award of request for proposal 20-39 and authorization to enter into a professional services agreement with Crisis Preparation and Recovery, Inc. for psychological services for the Glendale Police Department.
We need a presentation. Okay, anybody need a presentation? Okay, so I have no speaker cards on this particular item. Can I get a motion?
Yes, Mayor, I move we award RFP 20-39.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Tomachoff, second from Councilmember Aldama to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion?
Yes,
Hearing-
Mayor.
Go ahead.
As is my habit and practice, on this item and the next 4 under bids and contracts, I will be voting no because they are 5-year contracts. I keep seeing those puppies. And secondly, because they are for what I call non-essential goods and services. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, the motion does carry. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 20?
Authorization to enter into a linking agreement with Branco Machinery Company for the purchase of off-road equipment, cutting edges, and cutting tool attachments.
Okay, no presentation? No? Okay, anyone need to hear anything on this? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
Yes, Mayor, I move we approve item 20 with Branco Machinery.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Hughes, second from Councilmember Tomachoff to approve the recommended action item. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, that motion carries. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 21, please?
Authorization to enter into agreements for water and wastewater treatment chemicals.
No presentation, no explanation necessary. Can I get a motion?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I move we approve item number 21 and authorize the city manager to enter into the described agreements.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Turner, a second, I believe, from Councilmember Clark to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Oldham, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, that motion also carries. Item 22, Ms. Bauer, would you introduce it, please?
Authorization to enter into agreements for citywide landscaping services.
Presentation? None? Explanation necessary for anyone? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
Yes, Mayor. I move we enter into the agreement for citywide landscaping services.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Tomachoff, second Councilmember Hugh to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Oldham, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, that motion also carries. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce ordinance 020-65, item number 23?
Ordinance number O20-65, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, extending and increasing the corporate limits of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, State of Arizona, pursuant to the provisions of Title IX, Chapter 4, Section 9-471, Arizona Revised Statutes, and its amendments by annexing certain territory located south of the southeast corner of Reams Ranch Road and Northern Avenue of the City of Glendale, consisting of approximately 260 acres, to be known as Annexation Area Number 220, amending the zoning map, providing for an effective date, and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of the ordinance.
Mayor, members of the council, here to provide staff report this evening is Lisa Collins, our Interim Development Services Director.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Thank you, Mr. Phelps. So the request this evening is for Reams Ranch, and it is an annexation AN 220, and this is for adoption this evening. So the property is located as shown on the vicinity map in the western portion of the city on the west side of Luke Air Force Base at Reams Road. Again, this annexation request is 260 acres. It is south of Northern Avenue, east of Reams Road, and again, north of Luke Air Force Base. And it's anticipated that we'll have 3.9 million square feet of industrial and manufacturing building space. So there have been some previous council actions on this case. Last year in 2019, the City Council approved a pre-annexation development agreement referred to as a PADA, so that the property owner could move forward and address some infrastructure issues. On August 11th of this year, the council had a workshop and did provide consensus to move forward with the annexation. So that brings us to this evening. The range of fiscal impacts and assumptions you've seen previously as well. And the assumption again is 50% warehousing and 50% manufacturing, which would bring an annual net benefit of $870,000 approximately to the city annually. And there's one-time revenue of $15.4 million that's anticipated with this project. So we've done several annexations in the area. All those that have been looked at are complete now. So Reams Ranch is the one shown in red. The ones in green are the ones that have already been processed, and they're currently within the city limits. This is within the noise contours of 70, 75, and 80, which means industrial and warehousing are some of the uses that would be permitted within those noise contours. So the surrounding property is Maricopa County, and it's agricultural to the north. To the west is also vacant and residential Maricopa County. Again, the south and east is Luke Air Force Base. The Glendale general plan does show this area as Luke-compatible land use area, and again, that's due to the noise contours in the area. So when land is annexed into the city, we're required to have like zoning. So the existing zoning in Maricopa County does have a military compatibility overlay on it, referred to as an MCP. The closest Glendale zoning that we have to that is PAD, a planned area development. Again, the plan that was approved in the county in 2018 did establish uses of commercial, transportation, manufacturing, and warehousing. And again, those are the same uses that would be applied in the PAD in the Glendale zoning. So as required by state law, we did process a blank petition. We held a hearing on August 25th. After that, property owner signatures were gathered, and that was completed September 1st. So this hearing this evening is the next step. This is the request for annexation. After this, within 30 days later, this would be within the City of Glendale city limits. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions from the council? Hearing none. I have speaker cards, but none for this item. So can I get a motion on item 23, ordinance 020-65?
Yes, Mayor. I move we pass and adopt ordinance number 020-65.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Clark, second Councilmember Hugh to approve the recommended action. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Oldham, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. That motion carries unanimous. Public hearing for land development actions. We'll now move on to just that, item number 24, ordinance number 020-66.
Ordinance number O20-66, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, rezoning property located at 19,822 North 53rd Avenue from A1 Agricultural and SR 30 Suburban Residential, 30,000 square feet lot minimum, to SR 17 Suburban Residential, 17,000 square feet lot minimum, planned residential development, amending the zoning map, providing for an effective date, and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of the ordinance.
Mayor, members of the council, here to provide staff report on this item, again, is Lisa Collins, our interim development services director.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Mayor, members of the council. So this is a request for Modern Ridge Estates. It's zoning case 20-07. And this is a request to rezone from A1 Agricultural and SR Suburban Residential to Suburban Residential 17 PRD Planned Residential Development. There was also a preliminary plat process for this case, which was approved by the Planning Commission. You'll be seeing at a later date the final plat for this subdivision request. So again, Modern Ridge Estates is located in the vicinity of Beardsley Road and 53rd Avenue. The general plan does indicate this as low-density residential. And the zoning map shows the area, the A1 agricultural area and the SR Suburban Residential 30 area. On the aerial, this is shown as well. So this is a site plan showing the 6 lots that are being proposed. This is actually the landscape plan, which shows a little bit more detail of what's being proposed for the subdivision. So again, this is SR 17, Suburban Residential 17. The PRD is the planned residential development, which does modify some of the development standards. However, the lot areas remain the same. There's a little more lot coverage that is being requested on this and slight modifications to a side yard setback. So there was public involvement notices mailed in February of this year, and in August, the site was posted and hearing notices were also mailed in August. So when we look at planned residential developments, we consider findings. We did find that this was a valuable use of infill property and that the overall density, which is 1.5 units, 5.8 units to the acre, is consistent with the area and with the general plan, and overall it's consistent with the general plan. So the staff recommendation is for approval of this in substantial conformance to the project narrative and the planned residential booklet entitled Modern Ridge Estates and stamped 7/8/2020. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from the council? I have no speaker cards. With that, public hearing is now open on item 24, ordinance 020-66. Again, call to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? I have no speaker cards. Seeing no one, public hearing is now closed. Could I get a motion for ordinance 020-66, item number 24?
Yes, Mayor, I move we adopt ordinance number 020-66.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Tomachoff, second from Councilmember Hugh to approve the recommended action. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Councilmember Eldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, that motion carries unanimous. Item 25, applicant has requested that item 25 not be heard tonight, but it will be continued to the October 13 council meeting. So again, we will not hear item number 25. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item number 26, ordinance 020-68?
Do we need a
Mayor,
motion?
point of order.
Go ahead, sir.
If we would do so, if we're continuing the previous item to a date certain, I'd appreciate it if you would accept a motion and a second and a vote on that to a date certain, please.
Do we have a date certain?
Date certain would be October 13 council meeting.
Mayor, I move that we table item 25 until October 13th.
Second.
Do we want to use that word table?
Table, continue, we just want to make sure that it shows on the record that.
Okay,
the
as I
council's-
read this before, they asked that it be continued to the October 13 council meeting. The way you'd like to reword it?
I'll amend my motion to say so.
Table is fine.
Okay, so we have a motion to continue until October 13th, item number 25. I have a second on that. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay. Here's the ayes have it, do have it. That will be returned back to us October 13th. Okay. Now, Ms. Bauer, item number 26, ordinance 020-68.
Ordinance number 020-68, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the execution of a power transmission easement in favor of Salt River Project Agricultural Improvement and Power District located at 8310 West Camelback Road, and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of the ordinance.
Mayor, members of the council, here to provide staff report is our principal engineer for City of Glendale, Jamie Chapin.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Good evening, Mayor and council members. This is a request for City Council to waive reading beyond the title and adopt an ordinance granting a new power transmission easement in favor of Salt River Project Agricultural Improvement and Power District at westbound Camelback Road, west of 83rd Avenue. Currently, at the northwest corner of 83rd Avenue and Camelback Road, we have a commercial development under construction. The first building being constructed is an EOS Fitness. In support of the development, the developers in constructing improvements in Camelback Road, causing an existing power pole to be relocated. During the design of the relocation, SRP discovered that they did not have an easement for their facilities. So they're asking the city to grant the easement. And staff is recommending approval of the easement, so in support of the development. Thank you.
Okay, I would like a motion on ordinance 020-68, item 26, if there's no questions.
Mayor,
Councilmember Clark, would you like to make a motion?
I move we pass and adopt ordinance number 020-68.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Clark, second from Councilmember Hugh to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Councilmember Eldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion does carry. Moving on to new business, item number 28 is going to be heard before items 27 and 29. With that said, Ms. Bauer, would you please introduce item number 28?
Ordinance number 020-69, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, amending Chapter 13, Article 1 of the Glendale City Code, and repealing a section of Chapter 13, Article 3 of the Glendale City Code.
Mayor and council, before you is a proposed ordinance change that will provide the opportunity for council to work with a clean slate, to work on opportunities to provide some clarity on the roles and responsibilities with regards to the Judicial Selection Advisory Board. I would ask that you approve ordinance 020-69. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Bailey? Hearing none. I
Mayor?
have no speaker cards. Can I get the motion?
Yes, Mayor. I move we approve and adopt ordinance 20-69.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Hugh, a second from Councilmember Tom Chop to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. With a roll call vote, Councilmember Eldama, how do you vote? Councilmember,
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tom Chop, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Nay.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, that motion does carry. Now, Ms. Bauer, would you introduce back item number 27?
Excuse me. Reappointment of City Judge Burkholder.
Mayor and council, before you is the reappointment of Judge Burkholder. In light of your previous action, we'd ask that you continue this item to the October 27th council meeting. Thank you.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I move we table this item to the October 27th council meeting.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote aye.
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 Any opposed, vote nay. Here's your ayes have it, do have it. That will be reconsidered. Okay. Item number 29, please.
Consideration and possible action regarding the appointment of the City of Glendale presiding judge.
Mayor and council, I'd ask for a continuance on this as well to the October 27th meeting. Thank you.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I move that we continue this action until October 22nd,
27.
7.
27th, sorry.
Okay, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay. Appears your ayes have it, do have it. That motion does carry. Okay, moving on to item 30.
Resolution number R 20-122, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a consent to parking spaces lease agreement with ECL Glendale LLC, Arizona Tourism and Sports Authority, doing business as Arizona Sports and Tourism Authority, Arizona Cardinals Football Club LLC, New Cardinals Stadium LLC, and the Stadium Development LLC, SD, and together with the club and NCS, the Cardinals and Farm 101 LLC.
Members, Mayor, members of the council, I'm going to provide staff report on items 30, 31, 32, 33, dealing with resolutions R2122, R2123, 02070, and 02071. If you need further questions after the presentation, as you consider each item, obviously we can provide you additional information. This is a follow-up on regarding items for the Crystal Lagoons. So I want to talk to you about the site that is in question here with this agreement. You will see outlined in red is the site for the Crystal Lagoon, and then immediately to the east, as we're looking north, is the black lot. Again, just a reminder, this was the big project that we announced 2 weeks ago to the city, and this is with the Epic Resorts that will be opening in late 2022. So on September 8th, 2020, you approved 2 agreements that included the development agreement with ECL Glendale, and you also approved 2 government property improvement leases also with ECL Glendale LLC. During that meeting, we referenced we'd be coming back tonight with several other additional documents that would be needed to support this project. And there are 4 items that we'll be talking about tonight. One is the purchase and sale agreement with ECL Glendale to purchase approximately 0.2942 acres of city-owned land. Another option agreement to purchase real estate that's approximately 4.154 acres. There is a parking spaces lease agreement, and there's a consent to parking spaces lease agreement. The city attorney is here to talk about the first 2 items. And so, Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, Mayor and council. I think it's the next slide if we, there we go, perfect, thanks. What we're discussing tonight with regards to the, I think the one before it's the same. I just need the depiction there. So you can see the two parcels that are identified in the light blue color, because that's what they are on the screen. You have the approximately the 0.2 acres, and then the other larger parcel, which is approximately 5 acres. Regarding the 0.2 acres, that is a purchase and sale agreement, $10 a square foot. Nothing notable other than the fact that we are using the purchase and sale agreement that the city generally utilizes with regards to our transactions. So there's nothing that's unique. There's nothing out of our general practice in that regard. Notably, from a practical standpoint, is the property was at one point in time going to be used for transportation improvements that are no longer going to be necessary in the area. So it actually makes sense that that parcel of property be captured by the larger development there in the 48 acres. But again, in terms of the option, or in terms of the purchase agreement, it is our standard purchase and sale agreement with nothing unique in that regard. Regarding the option agreement, again, the option agreement is for the approximately 5 acres. Again, utilizing what we have had in the past with our purchase and sale agreement. The terms and conditions are generally the same as those that we require of all purchase and sale agreements, with the notable exception of one that notable exceptions of one that it is an option agreement, and the second is that there is a clawback provision that requires the development on the 48 acres to occur within 3 years, or the city has the right to purchase this lot back at the cost in which it was acquired by the developer. And again, this is being sold for $10 a square foot. Again, the notables of these agreements you've seen, because we are utilizing the city's standard terms and conditions, which have been accepted by the other parties. So I'm available for any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. The next agreement that you'll be considering tonight is an agreement for the parking. And so what this is referencing is this, a portion of the block lot. Within this block lot area, the city controls 4,001 parking spaces. It's subject to a use agreement with the ASDA and the Arizona Cardinals, who have priority use of these spaces on NFL game day and events, on any mega event that has an anticipated attendance of greater than 40,000. With those exceptions, then the agreement allows for the Epic Lagoon to use 2,600 of those 4,001 spaces for overflow parking. As a reminder, there's going to be still approximately 2,400 spaces developed on site by the developer, but on their peak days, in their peak season, they believe will be somewhere starting in late April and going through September, that they will need additional overflow capacity. And so this agreement will allow them to utilize, again, 2,600 spaces. A couple of the nuances in there is that the city maintains the ability to reconfigure the lots in the event that we have certain types of uses or need for the block lot. And then there's also a provision that at the city's discretion, the developer will agree to move the use of the 2,600 spaces, again, identified in this area here, and moving it to what's called the orange lot, which is owned by the Bidwell family owns the 2,600 spaces here. We wanted this flexibility to ensure that if at some point, if the council chose to do some type of development on the block lot, that we could move those lots, those spaces for a period of up to 2 years while construction commenced, and then they would be able to come back after that period of time and still have their 2,600 spaces located within that area. For this to happen, obviously, it took the cooperation of the Bidwell family to allow use of their lot. A couple other things to note: the agreement requires Epic Lagoons to maintain the parking lot. So during the time that they're using it, they will be responsible for maintenance items like cleanup, trash pickup, restriping, and security and lighting and utilities. And so they take on that cost during the term of this agreement. Finally, just to go over again the schedule, they are still anticipating to be under construction later this year. They're anticipating no later than the end of the fourth quarter of 2020. They are anticipating building the project in a single phase, and they expect to be open. Our development agreement anticipates an opening date of October 2020, which again will be in plenty of time to get their operations figured out in anticipation of the Super Bowl in 2023. And with that, we'll be glad to answer any additional questions the council may have.
Mayor, I do have one question, just clarification for those people who might be living in the Prendergast Estates area. If you could put up the map again of that nearly that one's good, the long strip, the nearly 5-acre parcel. It's my understanding, although it is not definitive until the agreement and the option to purchase is consummated, that the purchaser intends to use that for employee parking, operations and maintenance, and a small portion of the south for water retention. Mr. Bailey, is that your understanding as well?
Mayor, council member, yes, and in fact, when you look at the option agreement, there speaks to a restrictive covenant that will be placed on the property for that use.
Thank you. Just for clarification, thank you very much.
Phelps.
That concludes my report.
That's all of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you got through that quicker than I thought you were going to. Okay, can I get a motion on item 30, resolution R20-122?
Yes, Mayor, I move we adopt resolution number R20-122.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Tomachoff, second from Councilmember Hugh to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. That motion carries unanimous. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item number 31?
Resolution number R20-123, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a parking spaces lease agreement with ECL Glendale LLC.
Anything to add? Okay, I have no speaker cards on this item. Can I get a motion for item 31, resolution R20-123?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I move we pass and adopt resolution number R20-123.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Turner, second from Councilmember Clark to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. That motion carries unanimous. Ms. Bauer, item 32, if you would introduce ordinance 020-70.
Ordinance number O20-70, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of land by the city to ECL Glendale LLC, located west of the intersection of 95th Avenue and Montbello Avenue, Glendale, Arizona, a city right-of-way with a varying width from 59 to 74 feet, directing the city manager to execute all necessary documents for the sale and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of the ordinance.
Thank you. Mr. Phelps, anything to add?
No, sir.
Okay, I have no speaker cards on this item either. Can I get a motion for item 32, ordinance 020-70?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
motion to approve item number 32, ordinance number 020-70.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Aldama, second from Councilmember Hugh to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Mr. Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries unanimous. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 33, ordinance 020-71?
Ordinance number O20-71, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the option to sell land by the city to ECL Glendale LLC, located between 94th Lane and 95th Avenue, south of Cardinals Way and north of West Missouri Avenue, parcel number APN 102-14-273D, directing the city manager to execute all necessary documents for the sale and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of the ordinance.
Mr. Phelps, anything to add? Okay, no speaker cards on this item either. Could I get a motion for item 33, ordinance 020-71?
Yes, Mayor. I move we pass and adopt ordinance number 020-71, new series.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Clark, second from
Vice Mayor.
Councilmember Melner, the vice mayor, to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Eldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Melner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, the motion carries, unanimous. Request for future workshop and executive session. Do I have such an animal? Vice Mayor.
Yes, I move that we hold the next regularly scheduled city council workshop on Tuesday, October 13th, 2020, at 12:30 PM in the Civic Center, 5750 West Glen Drive, to be followed by an executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Vice Mayor Melner, a second from Councilmember Clark to approve. Well, let's, before we approve, any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay. Appears the ayes have it, do have it, that motion carries. Moving on to council comments and suggestions, starting with Councilmember Eldama.
None at this time, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Clark.
Yes, Mayor, I again would like to congratulate ECL and the city for completing the last sets of documents needed so that ECL can move forward. I don't know if anyone is aware, but Mr. David Leibowitz wrote a column about this project in which he felt strongly that it would never make. I just want Mr. Leibowitz to know that I'm saving that column, and I can't wait to read it to him, back to him, after the Lagoons project is complete. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Hugh.
None, Mayor.
Councilmember Tomachoff.
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to let everyone know that in addition to the your proclamation designating the month of October Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we will be lighting City Hall for the month of October purple in observance of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. That's it.
Councilmember Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly. Last Thursday, I think most of our telephones lit up with a alert, and it was the first time I'd noticed it. It was a blue alert. We all know what the silver alert and the other and the amber alert. I was thinking orange, but it's the amber alert are. But the blue alert is for when there's been an assault on a law enforcement officer that is of the nature of is severe, and in which the suspects are at large and a description of them and or their vehicle is available, then this alert goes out. Well, again, I don't know if the alert has been, one of the suspects was captured in this incident, which occurred in the city of Phoenix. I don't know if the blue alert actually has produced the arrest of the other suspect yet or not, but I do know that it gave me a moment to stop and pause and think of our officers in law enforcement and the risk that they take and the sacrifices they make on our behalf. And I just want to make sure that they know how much they are appreciated, and that we, every day, wish them nothing but safety as they go about doing their job and protecting us. So with that, I'll turn it back, Mayor. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
I have nothing to share tonight, so moving on. Next item is agenda for the citizens' comments. Council makes the opportunity available to citizens to bring information business before the council that is not included on our printed agenda. Council can only act on matters that are on the printed agenda, but may refer the matter to the city manager for follow-up. If you're unable to speak from our podium, if you'll let us know, we'll make sure you get a microphone brought to you when your name is called. I've got a few speaker cards here. So what I'm going to do is, we've got enough chairs in here. I'm just going to ask everybody that I call your name, come into this room and take a chair. I hope you are wearing a mask, but we do have enough room to do it. So Kathy Wheeler, Jane Bachman, Jessica Corey, Bernadette Bologny, I think is how you pronounce it, Ronald Fink, Stella Grezzo, and then Monica Yeelan. If you'll come into this room, take a seat, and Kathy Wheeler, if you'll come up to the microphone. You're keeping time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kathy Wheeler? Yeah, okay. If, before you speak, hold on, I'll just give instructions once. For all of you that are going to speak tonight, when you come up to the podium, I'll need you to state your name. I do not need your address. We just need to know if you live in Glendale, the district that you live in. If you don't know the name of your district, give us your crossroads, please. You'll have 3 minutes to speak, and I'll ask that you keep it at 3 minutes. So if you go over 3 minutes, I'm going to interrupt you. Ms. Wheeler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. I'm here about Glen Lakes and the issues that we still have, which I'll briefly just say. 173 lot subdivision proposed, narrow public park, increased traffic, high density housing, decreased property values. It's still the same issues that we've had from the very beginning. But I might have an answer to building a golf course. The Federal Great American Outdoors Act, in addition to improving infrastructure at our national parks, also provides permanent funding for Land and Water Conservation Fund. The LWCF, which is Land and Water Conservation Fund, excuse me, the LWCF supports recreational access and protection and prevention of our nation's most valuable natural and cultural resources, supporting over 98% of counties across the country. The LWCF enable state and local governments to develop and improve parks in their communities, as well as permanently conserve outdoor recreation areas for public use and enjoyment. Arizona State Parks and Trails coordinates this grant program. I'm asking the council to please vote no on MGPA 20-01 and ZON 19-17. Do not sell Glen Lakes. And I'd like to leave these thoughts with you. Fight for the things you care about. Do it in a way that leads others to join you. One lives not just for one's self-purpose, but for one's community. Make it a little better for people who are less fortunate than you and I are. Thank you.
Okay, and for the record, your name's Kathy Wheeler, and you live in the Beryl District.
Yes,
is that
I'm
correct?
sorry, I forgot to say that, Mr.
Okay,
Mayor.
very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Jane Bachman, you're up.
Jane Bachman of the Beryl District. Citizens appreciate Glendale's prosperity, and we know it's due to the guidance of our city manager and decisions made by our city council. We read about the booming new frontier and the annexed properties with sales revenue that will benefit the city and residents, and now a new resort that will surely add to the city coffers. In light of this enhanced financial situation, the citizens of Glendale request that the City Council reconsider your options concerning selling Glen Lakes. We note all the success that's happening in the West and in the Yucca District, some long-awaited amenities that should be created. But we observe, too, that amenities are becoming unbalanced citywide. In the Beryl District, we're about to lose our golf course. The development we are seeing is high-density housing, car washes on every corner, and a new fast food restaurant. Not much to crow about here. The city's improved financial condition encourages us to ask, will the City Council consider keeping Glen Lakes? We've heard there's capital improvement funds that could help fund the golf course. Ideas for making Glen Lake self-sustaining were presented to the city, and these ideas are still valid, a partnership of local businesses, the community, and the city. Isn't it about time that Glendale begins to think again about doing something directly for the people and for the youth? In these COVID days, we're hearing about the value of open space, and golf is that perfect outdoor activity. We're learning that green spaces and open spaces improve our living environment. Experiencing nature makes us generally happier, healthier people. We don't like to think that the loss of Glen Lakes and our open space will further erode our quality of life and affect our health and happiness. We're asking the council, will you consider keeping Glen Lakes in our community? Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Jessica Corey, you're up.
Jessica Corey, Ocotillo District. In the 1950s, the plans for Sands Estates wisely included alleys. The historical subdivision would remain pleasing to the eye because all utility poles and trash cans were screened from view. We have large lots, and some of them still get irrigation. As a result, there are large trees and bushes that need frequent trimming. With the large containers in the alley and bulk trash pickup, disposal was very easy. Councilman Aldama had an item of special interest concerning 2 alleys. He asked about the possibility of those being closed. He and I recall that there was a discussion about the process to be followed in case there were requests for other alleys to be closed. It was agreed that the closings were to be entirely voluntary. 70% of the residents on both sides of the alley had to agree. He was surprised that the bulk trash in the closed alleys in Sands Estates was not being picked up in those alleys. Last December, an unhappy neighbor told me that her alley was being closed. That change was not voluntary. She received a letter stating that alley would be closed. Now other alleys are being closed. Bulk trash week is a nightmare. Items that have been out of sight in the past are now piled in front of homes up to a week. The weight of the large trash collecting vehicles will cause unnecessary severe wear and tear on our streets. Several reasons for closing alleys have been given. These are the same problems that we have throughout our city and should be addressed by code compliance and the police. Communities should be valued and our quality of life preserved. Historical properties in Glendale are endangered. The Glen Lakes Golf Course property is in danger of becoming a subdivision with 173 homes and a very small percentage of green space. Initially, we were blindsided by the fact that a developer had been invited to submit 2 layouts for a subdivision. In this period of worldwide global warming, the idea that the city would even think of selling this beautiful green space is beyond belief. Innovative projects have been planned in our city. The people who plan these can surely come up with some proposals to keep our Glen Lakes. The property could be redesigned to combine the golf course with a passive recreational space. During the pandemics, people will need outdoor spaces to enjoy. The Planning Commission took the citizens' concerns to heart. They listened while time after time nearby residents offered suggestions and expressed concerns. Thank you to the Commission for your veto. Next month, you on our City Council will make the crucial decision about this property. Please think about the impact of your decision on the future of our citizens, city, and world. This should not be a power struggle.
Time.
Thank you. Mr. Fink. Hold on a second. All right, try that.
Hi, my name is Ronald Fink. I live in the Barrel District. What's wrong with green open spaces? Well, that depends on your perspective. If you're the developer, you see them as another opportunity to build more cookie-cutter houses and make millions of dollars in the process. If you're the city, you want to unload any non-revenue producing property to generate cash flow and have the perception that you're doing a good job. Neither the developers or city officials, it would seem, care even one iota about the citizens' quality of life. Higher nighttime temperatures caused by additional concrete and asphalt does not improve the quality of life for any of us. A story in the Arizona Republic on September 6th said that over the past 30 years, heat has been the cause of more deaths on average than any other natural disaster in the United States, according to the National Weather Service. It's easy not to care about the loss of open spaces when it won't affect you. However, if you happen to be one of the residents being affected, these open spaces are something to cherish. It's nice to have a little bit of nature to look at and enjoy rather than an endless sea of houses, one just like another. When is it ever going to be enough? Only when they run out of land to desecrate. Just because you can build more and more doesn't necessarily mean you should. As for the city's part, step back and really for once consider the impact your decisions have on the overall quality of life, both in your own districts and the city. Having one or two council members be against certain issues in their districts mean nothing when they know it's not going to affect the outcome. The same scenario then plays out again and again in every district, and everybody can save face. It hurts my heart to see what politics has become. The Founding Fathers truly wanted the best for the country. Now it seems to be every man for himself. Pretty sad. There's an old saying that nobody ever died wishing they had spent more time at work. Likewise, no resident with open space in their neighborhood ever said, I wish they'd build more homes there. Please do the right thing and restore Glen Lakes.
Stella Grazel? Close, okay.
El Griazo, Ocotillo District. I was asked to read this letter from Jean Merkel to Councilwoman Joyce Clark. It's in response to the history that Ms. Clark wrote on Glen Lakes Golf Course. And we're reading it tonight so it becomes part of the record because it gives a different perspective on the history of Glen Lakes. She wrote, in response to your blog on the history of Glen Lakes, you have made your position clear. Here are some thoughts from different perspectives. Your staff researched expenditure data from years gone by, and when the data was not available, assumptions were made that may or may not be factual. Here is what Save Glen Lakes Group learned from interviewing the Parks and Rec staff from years gone by. Considerable monetary contributions went into the Parks and Recreation coffers from Glen Lakes. Those contributions helped fund the Glendale Parks and Rec programs and made them the envy of the West Valley. Parents drove to Glendale from Avondale and Peoria to enroll their kids in many programs offered in Glendale. Sadly, this is no longer the case for today's youth. The listings of these programs can be found in the historical documents housed in or at the Saguaro Park Ranch. Yes, the city paid Golf Maintenance Solutions an exorbitant amount of money. Who thought that was a good idea? The Save Glen Lakes group certainly did not. In fact, we tried to find out how this went down and could not understand why the city would enter into such an expensive agreement. It was only later when Golf Maintenance Solutions was advised not to cooperate with us that we realized they were not there to save the course. You made a point of how attendance had dropped off over the years. This is really passing the buck. If the city fails to promote it and fails to maintain it, who owns the problem? What we learned is the course was never listed in the city tour brochure or the city website. We were told by the folks in the tour office that they never had any information on it. The winter visitors who did find the golf course on their own gave positive feedback until the course was left to deteriorate. This is also when leagues started going elsewhere. Joyce, green space is more than a view. It provides relief from heat islands, it's a source of clean air, adds water to the watershed rather than the city sewers.
Time.
This letter was sent, so I'm sure all of you got to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Monica Yellen?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Monica Yellin, and I work for the office of Congresswoman Debbie Lesko. My position is a community outreach liaison. My main duty is to connect with the constituents, the organizations, and businesses in District 8. Glendale is one of the cities that we cover, and today I wanted to let you know that our office is at your service for anything that anyone needs if they have issues with federal agencies such as Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Veterans Administration, and the SBA, among others. As well as we also have programs for students. If any student has an achievement, a great achievement at school, we can provide scholastic achievements to them. We have an app challenge competition every year. Right now, we have the deadline to submit the app. Any student that wants to submit an app is until October 19, and the winner will be shown at the Capitol, in the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. We also have Service Academy nominations for anyone that want to apply. We have that option. We have a Veterans History Project for any veteran that was part of a war that wants to tell us the story. We have a Library of Congress surplus book program, and we can provide books to any nonprofit or any local governments, and all you have to do is contact our office. We have a variety of services for everyone, and of course I can be here for an hour telling you everything, but I just wanted to give you a brief description of what we do. And our website is lesko.house.gov. Again, lesko.house.gov. You can Google Congresswoman Debbie Lesko, and you can find our website. And our office number is 623-776-7911. Again, 623-776-7911. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay, there being no further business before the council tonight, I'd like to thank everyone for attending tonight's meeting.
Mr. Mayor. One more.
We have one more what?
Boganini.
I don't have a card.
Yeah, Ms. Boganini.
What?
Ms. Boganini.
Okay, go ahead. Come on up. Sorry about that. Not sure what happened to your card.
My name's Bernadette Balatnini, Ocotillo District. And I just wanted to mention Glen Lakes. First of all, a big thank you to the Planning Commission for listening to the Glen Lakes neighbors and saying these 42 acres should remain green. I should think the city of Glendale would agree, especially after experiencing the hottest summer on record. Glendale doesn't need another heat island with 173 homes having their air conditioners on full blast and expelling carbon dioxide. Glendale deserves a sustainable environment where neighborhoods can thrive with clean air and an amenity that adds quality to their lives. If we lose this green space, we can never retrieve it. Glen Lakes is a keeper. Keep it. Now, I also wanted to talk about the Sand Estates alley closures. Alleys are closed without proper consent from the neighbors. I live in the Sands Estates and am surprised to see these closures. I assumed that the city would send out a survey to get neighbors' yay or nay on closures. I haven't received anything in the mail. The alley is so convenient for this older neighborhood that has mature trees and bushes. We are constantly trimming and happy to put our trimmings out for bulk pickup in the alley. Residents who have closures are forced to put trimmings and bulk trash in front of their homes. This is quite a disgusting sight and reeks of foul odors. why have there been no hearings on closures? What happened that citizens don't have a voice that impacts the value of their real estate? Citizens in these older neighborhoods definitely need to be heard. What happened to transparency? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now, being no further business before our council tonight, I'd like to thank everyone for attending tonight's meeting. With no objection from the council, we're adjourned. Thank you.